Hello. So we're on our way to the opening of a new bar. So we're going to Newcastle Brewing Limited's new bar at Arch 2. Yeah. Brewpub and Kitchen. The new bar and eatery oozes coolness and charm. An old tyre garage in Ouseburn has been transformed into an exciting brewpub and kitchen. Basically, it's opening on Friday the 19th of May. So we grabbed a chat with Leo of Newcastle Brewing Limited. Exactly a year since we interviewed last.
Really?
It's a year today. Yeah, came up on my Facebook. I was like,
so
it's a shame it wasn't 3D. So yeah, no, it came up on my Facebook.
Really?
It's a year, yeah.
You're welcome.
It's a bit grander this than your last humble home.
It's a bit more polished than the Quayside Enterprise Centre.
Yeah. So what made you think up this grand idea?
Well, the Quayside Enterprise Centre, as great it was for brewing in there, it was always a stopgap measure. So we were always looking for somewhere else in the Ouseburn where we could get our beer on draft. And I mean, you guys have been there. It was a bit of a, am I allowed to say fuck on?
Yeah, you can say
whatever.
Yeah,
a bit of a fuck on getting in there to buy beer.
Yeah.
So on the lookout for somewhere where people could just walk in off the street, have a pint of beer, buy a couple of bottles to take home with them, and this pretty much fell in our lap.
Yeah, I mean that's what we've been saying for a while, is actually the accessibility of your beer has been the problem for us. We want more of it, and us getting hold of it is not. This is the answer.
Yeah,
this is the
I know what you're
answer.
saying, but keeping it a little bit inaccessible works really well for us when we're brewing very small quantities.
Yeah.
So if you're only brewing sort of 300-400 litres a week, then you don't want everybody buying it, or then you've got to brew 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm not into this sort of. I did a course called, it wasn't really a course, like it was called a business accelerator called Entrepreneurial Spark. Have a Google of it, and what it was sort of like it's meant to sort of like accelerate your business, and they say, no, you've got to do this, you need bigger, you got to wholesale, you got to do this, and I'm just like, why the fuck would I want to do that? Like, why would, like, so getting back to the original question, so we were looking for somewhere where we could sell our beer to the general public, and without having to flog ourselves off to death for it.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing is, it means you control the entire supply chain, really.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be good beer. You're not going to go somewhere and have a manky pint and think it's the beer rather
you're
than
always
just.
going to get the freshest beer because.
So I think one thing that we've seen tonight, that obviously was something aware of your beer, but you've sort of got a partnership with food, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's
Well, behind every great beer, there's a plate of food somewhere.
we just had the
It's
pork
like-
scratchings and
Those are amazing.
I was
pork
surprised there
scratchings.
was any left after the amount of them I've eaten. I've been living on them for the last 2 days.
no, absolutely
Great.
So the kitchen's getting installed in about 6 weeks' time, so we're probably going to have another launch party in about 6 weeks' time. So who doesn't like parties?
No, we love them.
So watch out for that. You know, when this place opens up their new kitchen, depending on when you're listening to this podcast,
But
because they
it's-
could be listening in the future.
But it's two reasons to turn up. You turn up first of all in the next few weeks to have the beer and you like that, and then you can drag people along again. That's good for alcoholism.
have food and beer. It's epic.
No, it's
What more could you want?
Exactly.
Other than an amazing place to eat and drink it in.
and you were saying earlier that everything was very local, weren't you? And sauce and
as
that's
much as possible, we've tried to use local businesses and local suppliers. So things like the bar and the sign up on the front, they're a business literally just around the corner, spitting distance, just on Lime Street, a company called Rascal. So they've done some amazing work there. The wine, the wine produces an old guy called Arthur Cook. Hi Arthur, if you're watching. Don't worry, he won't be. he doesn't drink beer. He's from Walker originally, so half a mile that way. What else? The cider we're getting in is made with Northumbrian apples. Go Northumbria! Yeah. As much as possible on the food side of things, stuff's sourced locally. The gluten-free beers from a new brewery in CM called Ouseburn Brewing, and they're most breweries for gluten-free beers will brew a beer normally and then strip gluten out of it. He's importing 100% gluten-free grains, so things like rice, millet, quinoa or quinoa if you're from the northeast, and brewing with that, so it's 100% gluten-free.
The question is, see, gluten-free beer, some of it's really shit. Is it shit or is it good? Putting you on the spot a little.
No, not really, because I'm wheat and dairy intolerant myself, so I understand the sacrifices you have to make. I mean, it's a bit like if I have wheat or dairy, it's a bit like having a hangover the next day.
Yeah.
Like I can tolerate it, like I can get over it, and then my body heals. But I'd rather not. So if you haven't got any other option and you want to drink beer, then I'd say Peter at Ouseburn Brewing's. He does English Pale Ale, which has got a bit of American Cascade in it, and he does Bavarian Pilsner as well. If you want to drink beer and you've got no other option, like, you're going to love his beers because you're still going to be able to drink a quality, decent beer.
So it's probably like me with alcohol-free beers when I have to have it. It's like, it's not quite there, but sometimes you've just got to do that.
If you can't have the real thing, then you want the next best thing.
Yeah.
So you want a decent
best thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Pretty, as far as I'm concerned.
So if you like your gluten-free beer, come down to Arch 2.
Yeah. And we can get you a Bavarian Pilsner or an English Pale Ale.
And that's a bigger selection than most other bars in Newcastle.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm sure as time goes by, he will extend his range. Yeah. I think he's already got a porter in the works or already released. I'm not quite sure. He hasn't sort of filled us in on that.
Certainly, I want to keep seeing like the Facebook tweets of different people advertising around the place. So it's definitely good.
I mean, maybe that's our next special gluten-free beer.
Yeah,
we've done the alcohol
You should get stuff like Stone have got a gluten-free. I think Stone do Delicious IPA. I think that's their gluten-free IPA. Then you've got Brewdog's Vagabond, and then get one of his English Pale Ales or there and like just see what else there is about.
I can get Vagabond in Morrison's because it's a lot cheaper because they don't sell it in the gluten-free section. Tesco's do and it costs £1 more.
Well, there we go. There's some consumer advice.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
So a loaf of bread costs me £2.50, and it's half the size of a normal loaf of bread that you can eat. That would cost you, I don't even know how much.
I don't
like
really eat bread.
70 pence to a pound.
I can get it as cheap as 20 pence when I'm very frugal.
As the whoops.
It's just whatever's cheap at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Put some jam in it doesn't matter. Toasty maker, sorted.
Oh.
Well, do your gluten-free bread, does that fit in the toasty machines?
No, it's too small.
Too small?
So it's like,
normal loaves of bread are too big toasty machines.
So
you have to cut half of it off.
Gluten-free bread's probably about a third of a slice smaller. I'm not sure how you do that. So if your slice of bread's this big, a gluten-free slice of bread's that.
Wow.
That's just mean.
Yeah, that is very mean.
No, it's very clever profiteering.
Yeah.
You say that, but I say mean. At least they're not, because in the old world they used to mix bread with things like sawdust. So at least they're not putting sawdust in it.
Yeah, well, at least I know. Like when I paid £2.50 for 2/3 of a loaf of bread, it's got quality ingredients in it. It's like I suppose you could liken it to buying a gluten-free beer, or
is beer one of your 5 a day?
If you have the Satsuma IPA, it is.
That's a good advertising.
So what would be your favourite beer, and what would be
I haven't made it yet, mate. I haven't made it yet.
Okay, so the other one is, what beer should everybody listening to this podcast buy?
Well, we've got 20 to choose from. I think
Pick the one with the biggest profit margin.
Well,
It's consumer advice.
Nobody
Listen.
else knows this, but we've got a 9% Russian Imperial.
Yeah, when's that coming out?
Chocolate milk stout.
Because that's the sort of thing that makes me come.
It's
So
just resting. It's just resting, mate.
Resting.
You can't rush these things.
Oh,
It's
no.
brewed. It's brewed. It's in kegs, and it's just sitting there. You've got 90 litres of vanilla rum porter to drink first at 6.8%.
I've got one of them in my fridge. I keep meaning that we need to drink it properly together as a nice, because it's a
Not as
nice
a
beer.
couple.
Drink 90 litres of kegged vanilla rum stout. Sorry, vanilla rum porter, and I can put the Russian on.
Oh yes. I mean, we could try that.
Well, get yourself down to Arch 2 in Ouseburn, Newcastle. Well worth a look.